Good morning. I am impatient. I am probably one of the most impatient people you will ever meet or speak with. So on Friday, April 21st, 2018, when I arrived at the federal prison camp in Miami for my check-in of my 5-year sentence, I learned the type of antithetical system I was walking into. Got to the camp at about 10 o'clock in the morning, as it said to be there before noon. Filled out all the paperwork, sat in a holding cell, was examined, was inspected, filled out my forms, ate a bologna sandwich, and at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the guard came in and said, "I'm sorry, we don't have any of your paperwork. We're going to have to put you in the SHU, administrative security, for the weekend." I was stunned. I said, I just came in. I have what paperwork? They said, "Sorry, as a matter of fact, we need to leave now. Our shift is over. So we're just going to escort you over to the SHU." They then shackled me, hands and feet around the waist, and took me into secured housing. I stayed there for the weekend. It was at that point that I learned that what happens in the Bureau of Prisons, they do on their own schedule, in their own way, without any explanation whatsoever. I learned in my 21 months of being there the value of patience, the value of not trying to figure out why something's happening or when something's happening, but just that it will happen eventually. And it got to the point where the day I was released in April of 2020, I walked up to the counselor. My wife was in the parking lot. She drove the 50 miles to the camp in Miami, said goodbye to everybody. As a person leaving prison, you give away all of your belongings. I gave away my watch, my food, my coffee mug. The counselor said to me, "Mangel, where are you going?" And I said, "I'm leaving today." He said, "I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you yesterday. We didn't get the final paperwork in. You're not leaving today." I said, "My wife's in the parking lot. I'm scheduled to leave today." He looked at me, shrugged, and said, "I'm sorry, you'll leave tomorrow." I had to call my wife, explain to her why I'm not leaving today. She's in the parking lot. No excuse. And that, please come back tomorrow. Went back the next day, and I was finally allowed to leave. When dealing in the Bureau of Prisons, whether it's getting ready to surrender, waiting for your designation to occur, waiting for a transfer, waiting to get into a program, waiting to get into the drug and alcohol RDAP program, waiting to leave prison. Once you leave prison, if you go to a halfway house, how quickly can you transition to home confinement? There are so many aspects of the Bureau of Prisons and being in custody that require patience and not trying to figure out the whys or the whens, but doing something which might be completely different than how you're used to doing, especially if you're in business. There are no such things as being someplace at an appointed time. While you might be called to a doctor's appointment on a certain time and day, the doctor might not show up. That's okay for you to sit there and wait 2 or 3 hours. But if you leave prematurely and the doctor does show up, you could get an infraction. Being in the Bureau of Prisons, both during, before, and after, is about patience. It's about understanding how to navigate a terrible, terrible system. If you have any questions, concerns about yourself, you're getting ready to surrender, you're in halfway house, or a loved one, give me a call, text me, email me, and we can try to figure out the best course of action. Thank you.